I'm not threatening you. Say one more word, and that's 30 days. 30 days.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame with your boy TP. Today, we are going to be hanging out in the 14B District Court in the state of Michigan. And while we are here at the courthouse, we are going to be hanging out in two different proceedings. The first is going to be in the courtroom of Magistrate Hillary Braley, and the second is going to be in the courtroom of Judge E. Rain Washington. Both of these judges have sovereign citizens before them. I am interested in seeing how they both handle these sovereign citizens. So, with that being said, guys, let's jump into these proceedings.
So, to this person on the device just labeled Mac, would you be Stephen Smith?
My Christian appellate name is capital S, lowercase Tepehen, capital S, lowercase Mith.
Okay, so that would be a yes. Thank you. Deputy Sims. Now calling 24W003208A, the Township of Ypsilanti versus Stephen Cameron Nigel Smith. Deputy Sims, state your name for the record.
Deputy Sims.
Thank you. Okay, and Mr. Smith, you've already stated and spelled your name out. Thank you. Today is the date and time set for an informal hearing in this matter. What I have is a citation issued November 17th, 2024, that charges that on or about that date you did operate a motor vehicle on Holmes Road at or near Ford Boulevard. And when you were pulled over, you failed to disclose to the officer that you had a concealed pistol and a CPL. So it looks like you were also cited for having a window tint. I don't have that citation, which presumably means that it was paid. So again, this is a civil infraction. There is no criminal penalty associated with this, no jail time, no probation. There is, however, a fine. Before we get started, Deputy Sims, was there anything that you wanted to say?
No, ma'am, I'm ready to proceed.
Okay, thank you. Just a moment. Okay. So, Mr. Smith, as you have likely heard already, you have three basic options when it comes to this citation, and these are your three options. You can accept responsibility, that is basically admit that you did not disclose per MCL 28.425F that you had a license to carry a concealed pistol and that you did not present that immediately to the peace officer when you were pulled over. You can accept responsibility with an explanation so the court can take into consideration any mitigating factors and potentially lessen or eliminate the fine. Finally, you can deny responsibility, that is, deny that you failed to disclose your CPL immediately, at which point we will proceed to the informal hearing. I will swear in both sides, take testimony, and make a decision based on preponderance of the evidence. Which of those three options are you going with?
I want to, may I grant my name to the court and make the court trustee?
Okay.
But the option 3, as your question, I deny responsibility and I have an explanation.
Okay. So if you are denying responsibility, then I'm going to swear you in and swear in the deputy, and I will take testimony from both sides. So let me explain how this is going to work. After I have sworn you both in, I am going to take testimony from Deputy Sims first, because Deputy Sims is the officer in charge of issuing the citation. That means he's basically the plaintiff in this matter, okay? Once he has finished his testimony, which you are not to interrupt, it will be your turn to testify. He is not to interrupt you either. After I've heard the testimony from both sides, I will make a decision based on preponderance of the evidence. As I stated before, that is a 49% to 51% standard. So basically, whoever's testimony is slightly more persuasive. This is not a criminal case. It is not beyond a reasonable doubt in this situation. So, do you understand? Do you comprehend everything that I just said?
I do comprehend.
Thank you. Okay, raise your right hand, Deputy Sims, and Mr. Smith, you will have to tell me when it's raised if you're not turning your camera on.
It's raised.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to the best of your information, knowledge, and belief, Deputy Sims?
I do.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Deputy Sims, you may proceed with your testimony.
On 11/17/2024, about 3 a.m., my partner and I observed a black Ford Fusion. It was on Ford Boulevard. I believe it had just turned onto Ford Boulevard with tinted windows. Proceeded after the car. It turned into the gas station there on the corner, and we followed it into the gas station and proceeded towards one of the exits. Before it returned to the road, the driver, Mr. Smith, exited and began yelling at us. At that point in time, we activated our emergency lights and conducted the traffic stop there. We made contact with him, explained the reason that we had followed behind him. And when I approached the vehicle, I looked in the vehicle and I observed a firearm on the passenger seat. At no point in time during that did I hear I have a CPL until after the firearm was located. He was detained, the CPL was verified, he was issued the citations and released.
And did you have any evidence or witnesses or any other testimony that you wish to present?
Not at this time.
Okay. Thank you. Then, Mr. Smith, it is your turn.
I want to mention there's no damaged property or victim under sworn oath. Also, I believe I was being racially profiled. I had been pulled over, which I did stop, and I was let go because I wasn't suspected of any crimes, just as I wasn't suspected of any crimes by him as well, as he mentioned. We had sat in the intersection, which I was in the middle of a DoorDash, and I wanted to get on my phone to see where I was at. When I looked away from my phone, I seen him, the officer, and another deputy, or whoever it may have been, an officer, also sitting in the middle intersection for about 30 seconds, maybe to even 60 seconds. So he could see me through my windshield, while I believe it was racial profiling. Considering the area we were in, it wasn't the best area. So when I pulled, which I did use my turn signal, and it was a stop sign, or it was a light, a signal light. So when the light turned green, I turned right with my turn signal. I also turned signaled into the gas station, which I was going to stop to check my phone because, like I told the officer that had pulled me over 10 minutes before, which I'm sure he heard on the radio call, um, I was door dashing, which I had admitted to both of the officers. He called another officer in response to what he calls me pulling myself over. He never admitted to pulling me over. He said I pulled myself over. I got out the car to explain myself that I was door dashing and that I felt like I was being harassed because I was just previously pulled over. I did not have a firearm on person, and he didn't have a reason to suspect me of any crimes or try to search my vehicle. I was illegally searched on person without my disclosure. I told them I don't consent to any searches, and they were digging in my pockets. I have a legal license, and I'm not suspected of any crimes. So after he said I pulled myself over, he flashed his lights, and they kind of like grabbed me up, and I feel like they assaulted me in a way. And after he figured out that I did have a CPL disclosure, which he never gave me time to disclose because it was not on my person. So I didn't feel the need to because I was not present in my motor carrier for him to be in any type of danger. After he sat me in the car, which I feel like I should not have been detained that way, for about 15 minutes, they let me be on my way with a citation. And I don't believe I deserve the citation. And he doesn't have any evidence of the situation. It's just a presumption with no material.
Does that conclude your testimony?
Yes.
And did you have any evidence or witnesses that you wanted to present?
I have evidence on my phone of me asking him, what their badge numbers was, which they didn't really want to disclose. So I had to look it up on the internet. I have a dash cam, but it was not running at the time.
So before we continue, I do want to apologize because I did actually have the equipment violation citation as well. That is for the window tint. So did you wish to address the window tint specifically?
That's just how the car came. I bought it that way, straight from Ford. So it's free.
In Michigan?
Yes.
Deputy Sims, since I don't think I specifically asked you about the tint either because I had misplaced this on my desk, do you wish to address the window tint?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sure you're aware that no vehicle that comes from the factory has front window tint on it. During his first testimony, he admitted to having window tint and said that we saw him through the windshield, which is not possible at night, but he admitted that there was tint.
May I add something?
You may.
There's they didn't test any window tint for any type of darkness issues or anything like that. It was just kind of an excuse because that wasn't the first reason that he told me that he pulled me over. It wasn't for window tint. And you can disclose that through the video of his own body cam. They said that they pulled me over because he presumed that I was trying to turn around in the parking lot or evade him, but I was door dashing like I told the officer that pulled me over before.
So, Deputy Sims, I believe when you testified a moment ago, you said you had noticed the window tint. Did you want to respond to that to me, please?
I guess, what are you asking?
You had stated that you initiated the stop, or at least you started to initiate the stop based on observing window tint. Is that correct?
So yeah, I mean, I was with my partner. So there's also the part of he came off of Holmes Road, if I remember correctly, turned right into the parking lot, and then cut through the parking lot to go back onto Holmes Road. It didn't seem like there was any intention of him trying to stop at the store or anything like that. So he's also cutting through the parking lot.
May I add?
You may.
I did not try to cut through the parking lot, as I mentioned before, and prove to the officer before I was door dashing. And if I would have been on my phone, then he would have tried to get me for that as well. So I safely pulled over to where I could view where I was. And it was his presumption that I was trying to turn around in the parking lot, but my car wasn't parked.
Okay, thank you. Give me just a moment. So the court is ready to make a decision in this matter. So in regards to the B ticket, that is the equipment violation, basically having obstructed vision with window tint. At this point, the court is finding you not responsible for the window tint, Mr. Smith, because based on just the testimony today, I don't think there's enough established to confirm whether or not the window tint would have been in violation. Now, regarding the A citation, that being the failure to disclose the CPL, the court is finding you responsible in that matter. And that is, again, based on MCL 28.425F. Basically, an individual licensed under this act to carry a concealed pistol and who is carrying a concealed pistol and who is stopped by a peace officer shall immediately disclose to the peace officer that he or she is carrying a pistol concealed upon your person or in your vehicle.
May I add, please?
Well, no, because at this point I'm making my ruling, and the pistol was in the vehicle. I understand it doesn't sound like you were in the vehicle at this point, but you were engaged with the officer, and it was your responsibility as the person with the CPL to immediately disclose that you had a CPL and that there was a weapon in the vehicle. So you are being found responsible. Again, this is a civil infraction for first offense. There's a fine here of $500, and your license to carry concealed is being suspended for 6 months. Now, what I am going to say is that you do have the right to appeal my decision as the magistrate. If you do so within the next 7 days, the case will be reheard by the judge. So,
How do I appeal?
You would have to either consult with an attorney or you can talk to the clerks about getting the paperwork. I cannot give you legal advice. So
Yeah, because I wasn't, as he stated before, sorry, I wasn't actually engaged in a traffic stop. That was the problem.
At this point, the court has made its ruling. This hearing is concluded. I believe that concludes the docket.
The court will call the case of Ypsilanti Township versus Vash Bay, case number 2014-00158.
Paul Barnett on behalf of the township.
Ken Medadish on behalf of Mr. Bay. Mr. Bay, can you say your name for the record?
Vash Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Bay. All right, we're here today for a review. It looks like Mr. Bay is moderately compliant. So, Mr. Bay, you have completed your MAD victim impact panel. Thank you for getting that done. let's see, when did you get sentenced? In October, no, November. So you're doing good for just starting in November. Thank you for getting those things done. You've completed the victim impact panel. You've been checking in with probation. You're testing 2 times per month. You need to submit proof that you're doing your 12-step meetings, though. We don't
Yeah,
have any.
I have proof. Sorry to disrupt you. I had proof. I just lost my sheet because my therapist that I use for outpatient said that she could sign in on behalf of the AA meetings, but I've been looking for it since I've been waiting. I don't know where I did with the paper at. So,
But you think you can find it?
if not, I could always get one of the gentlemen at the AA meetings to sign the previous times I've been going, because I go every week because it's literally right down the road from me.
Okay, good.
He also did mention, Your Honor, that he is doing therapy at IHA. He said that his supervisor there, or whoever.
Sorry to disrupt you. It's my therapy. So every time I go, I have to drop there, and then on top of that, I go to the IHA urgent care, and I drop there too. They got me dropping like whenever pretty much twice a week almost, on top of going to the community corrections. And I haven't been going to community corrections for the last week and a half because of I don't have a vehicle because I hit a deer over the vacation. So I don't have a vehicle right now. It's being worked on as we speak.
So, Your Honor, we mentioned this for 2 reasons. First reason is that he is doing therapy. He said that someone in charge there called Constance should have sent everything to Miss Johnson. I don't know if Miss Johnson is in receipt of that. That's the first reason we mentioned that. Oh, Miss Johnson.
Sorry, I don't have anything from Ms. Shuby as of yet, so he may want to resend it and then make sure that we include Mr. Poppenhagen, because moving forward, Mr. Poppenhagen will be his agent.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So I'll talk to Mr. Bay, make sure that he sends the proof of the 12-step meetings as well as the outpatient assessment that he did to Mr. Poppenhagen. But Your Honor, he did mention that he wanted to ask if he's able to drug test at the urgent care that he mentioned, since it's closer to him, instead of having to drive to Ypsilanti. He lives in Mayland, Mr. Bay, you said?
Mylan, ma'am.
Sorry. I'm not from Michigan. I'm not familiar with all the cities. Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Thank you. Do we know if those drug tests are supervised, meaning does someone watch as he provides the sample?
No, ma'am. No.
Mr. Bay, they need to be supervised for them to be appropriate to make up. If you want to replace the community corrections, would they need to be supervised? So unfortunately, you are not going to be able to switch it out. Right?
Okay,
Correct, Your Honor?
No problem.
That's correct. They have to be. I just have always appreciated your honesty and forthrightness, Mr. Bay. I just want to tell you that. I'll tell you what I will do. I'm not gonna just eliminate community corrections, but I will, let's see, he's doing 2 times a month. I'll reduce it to 1 time per month. I'll do that for him based on his honesty here today. And I think that he's taking this really seriously. So I hope he continues that. I believe in rewarding people for doing what they're supposed to be doing. And so that's what I'm willing to do. Mr. Barnett, do you have any objections to that?
No, I don't, Your Honor. That's fine.
So what we'll do is we'll adjourn it for 90 days and give him time to get his 12-step meetings in. He should be submitting those on a monthly basis with his monthly reports.
Yes,
so that when we come back, we're not having this issue of trying to, and it helps him too, because if you misplace it or something comes up, you're not trying to recreate 90 days. You're trying to recreate, 30 days instead of 90 days. Yes, and then the other piece of this is he can get that assessment in like he's supposed to and keep working towards his community service. And I'll see him back here in another 90 days. He got a total of 9 months on probation, so December, January. So he'll be eligible for early discharge if he's completed everything by that time. So the next review will be on April the 9th, 2025 at 10 o'clock a.m.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I will mention to Mr. Bay, and he may want to let Ms. Shuby know as well. The probation fax number during the transition for the court renovations is disabled at this time, so all faxes need to go to the main fax number. If Mr. Bay has questions in regards to what that is, he can contact probation so we can get that information to him. They may have been trying to email the previous or fax to the previous email or fax, which is why we don't have the information.
Yeah. So there's a new fax number because we moved to a temporary space, if you didn't know that, and the other fax number isn't working. So you have to call probation, get that fax number. Okay, Mr. Bay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Take care
you.
of yourself. I'll see you in April. Okay.
See you. Have a good day, ma'am.
All right. Bye-bye.
Well, guys, we have come to the end of both of these proceedings. And as we can see with the first proceeding with Mr. Stephen Smith and the officer, we see Stephen Smith definitely had his sovereign citizen head on. He started out by spelling out his name letter by letter. We see Magistrate Braley take a little shot at that, make a little joke out of it. But you see he immediately kind of jumped off a screen, didn't really want to be on camera. She gave him 3 different options. He decided, listen, I'm not taking responsibility. I want to tell my side of the story. And he and the officer, as we can see, got a chance to do that. And I agree with the whole window tinting thing. If they didn't have something there to check the percentage of the tints, and there was really no way for her to prove that the tints were actually the percentage that the officer said it was. He said that the front window was tinted. I mean, who knows? I don't know. I mean, obviously, maybe they didn't have pictures because he didn't, present any pictures or anything like that. And another thing, they were talking about the dealership not selling cars with a certain type of tint or tinted a certain way, but that's only if those cars are coming straight from the dealership. Sometimes you have trade-ins, and I noticed from buying cars in the past, used cars, sometimes people trade in their cars, and the dealership isn't going to take the tints off or rearrange the tints on the window before they sell those used cars to somebody else. So that's something that could have happened. But I agree, there was really not a lot of proof there. But when it comes to him not revealing that he was carrying a weapon, she absolutely was correct in doing that, just according to the rules. And it's just smarter to do so. Whether that would be a rule or not, it just would be smart to just say, listen, I got a gun on my front seat, because that situation could have turned super bad, for him, for the officers, for everybody. But when we get to that second proceeding, when we look at the second proceeding with Judge E. Rain Washington and Vash Bay, definitely a Moorish sovereign citizen, got his sovereign citizen head on, but he's a respectful Moorish sovereign citizen. Judge Washington seems to like him. She said, listen, I believe in rewarding people for doing the right thing. And that's what she did in his case by lifting some of his stipulations to help make life easier for him. But with that being said, guys, listen, you guys been amazing with supporting the channel, with commenting, whether it's negative or positive. I appreciate it either way. Just keep on supporting the channel, keep subscribing, liking, sharing. It is really helping us out here. So thank you once again. This is Sovereign Citizens Hall of Fame. And for now, guys, Sovereign Citizen Court is adjourned. Appreciate you guys. See you guys soon. God bless.